Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. It's just me and Stevie today here in the studio.
Pretty cosy one, huh?
Yeah, a very cosy one. Don't worry, we'll be joined by a few others as well. But we will start by talking about the Mbappe transfer saga, all the latest twists and turns. Front cover of Marca, for sale or a year without playing. He is now for sale in the current transfer window, as you know. PSG saying he's no longer a part of their plans. He's been left out of their pre-season tour of Japan, and the club say if he doesn't sign a new contract extension, he won't play this coming season. Well, Frank Leboeuf is joining us now, as is Aage Fjortoft. But given that Frank Leboeuf is in France, let's start with you, Frank. What's been your reaction and the reaction in France to this?
Well, my own reaction is I'm really concerned about what's going to happen and the image of PSG, but also Mbappe is giving to my country. It seems to be, again, a big circus in that club. And I listened to what Stevie said like a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, about the fact that maybe PSG was completely stupid to do that and to put Mbappe outside. I want to understand, and I want to maybe think that Paris Saint-Germain, I'm sure, got an overall agreement with Mbappe. I can't believe that club, that big club, will say to Mbappe, okay, we sign you, and within a year, you're going to decide whether you're going to stay or not. And but we would love you to sign a new contract or another year contract, or maybe we can sell you. I think because you can have a written agreement, they only had an oral agreement, but I'm pretty sure they had that. If they had that kind of agreement, I believe in gentleman agreements, and it counts as for me as a written agreement. It's the same for me. So therefore, in that situation, Mbappe would be guilty by lying. But I want to believe that there is something that we don't know, and hopefully we're going to say the truth. What is the position of Real Madrid as well? What the club wants, what Paris Saint-Germain has been trapped to, and what Kylian Mbappe really wants at the end of the day. He was putting outside that he wanted to be the man of the club, that he wanted to have the keys, that they gave him to him, and kind of doing what he doesn't say to me that he's been absolutely faithful. Now I really want to know what's going on with Real Madrid. In France, people are also interrogating themselves and got a little bit fed up with Paris Saint-Germain, got a bit fed up also with Mbappe. Mbappe had some outgoing comments about the death of a guy by a policeman, and he didn't please many French people, and now there is that story. So people are concerned about the fact that their best player, maybe ever, is not being the right guy in the right place. I would love to defend Mbappe because I love the guy, I love his personality, I love the player. But it's hard to do so if you don't know all the truth. I don't know if one day we're going to know what's going on, and hopefully they're going to find a solution very soon, because I cannot believe that the only players who in fact brought everything he had to give to that club is going to be on the bench and not playing for a year.
Do you know, Frank, the one problem I have is that if you're going to have a gentleman's agreement, then it depends on the two gentlemen involved. If it's you and I, two people who think alike and who actually, a gentleman's agreement and your word is your bond type of stuff, then it actually means something. But again, I said how crazy they are and the decisions they make are so stupid that they have gone into a gentleman's agreement, if they did indeed have done, with a guy who they just sat back and did the same thing to Real Madrid. He basically told Real Madrid he was going to go there and then went back on it. So you're going to have a gentleman's agreement with somebody who you know has gone back on the word already. Again, makes PSG look stupid.
Yeah. And also, Frank, you wonder... Go on.
No, I understand what Stevie says, but as long as we don't know what really happened and what they really said in the first place, I cannot really have a conclusion about that. My concern is, I'm sure last year when they signed the contract, I'm 100% sure that Paris Saint-Germain, Al Nasser Al Khelaifi, never said to Mbappe, you're going to go for free. Never. It's never happened and will never happen in the world of football. He said, we invested so much in you. If in one day you decide to leave, we want to make sure, and we want to have that gentleman agreement that we're talking about. We want to make sure that you're going to go with us getting some money out of it. And I'm pretty sure it's what they said. And I'm pretty sure Kylian Mbappe said yes. I mean, I want to believe that.
But
I want to make sure, I want to know exactly what happened in that meeting. And I want to know if Mbappe said, you know what, it's possible that I go for free. I can't believe that. They would have never signed him for that amount of money if it was the case.
But basically, Kay, what is interesting is if you're going to do a gentleman's agreement, first of all, you need two gentlemen. That is part one. So that is basically what Stevie is saying. I'm with him there. But remember, 1 year ago, we were sitting in the studio discussing when Mbappe did that deal, and we said, or I said at the same time when we were discussing why didn't he go to Real Madrid? Because this is not about a normal transfer. This is not about this is another level. Because basically you can say there is this guy who has 1 year left of his contract and he doesn't want to extend that contract. Okay, fine. That happens all the time. So the club is angry and it will put you in the stands and we will say you can't do that and blah, 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 blah. But this is so much more. This is Mbappe. He's up there with Haaland, with Messi, with Ronaldo, the top artist of this world. So it's much more than this. But I think we have to go back to basic. I am with Frank that I guess, Frank, we will never know what was really said in those conversations because you will use that whatever you want. But at that time, he stayed by the Qataris. He stayed with the Qatari-owned PSG before the World Cup in Qatar. And I can only speak for myself. I was very, very clear that everybody understood that this was a way that you can never sell him to Real Madrid before the World Cup because the Qataris had the World Cup. So my point is, this is much more than a normal transfer. This is between countries. This is between honor. This is between a lot of things. And I don't think that do I think that he will sit in the stands for 1 year not playing football? No, I don't think so. Can it happen? Absolutely.
So if you don't think so, Jan, what do you think would happen instead then? Because if he stays, that's what PSG are saying is going to happen.
He will earn it. He will earn it. There is a right if you have a contract. You have 1 year left of your contract. That is the Bosman rule. The Bosman rule means after the contract, you can leave. But if they had a gentleman's agreement saying we can never let you go for free, but hey, if you sign that deal, then he can go for free. Do I think that Real Madrid is following this case and want him now? Absolutely. I think so. And maybe there is someone who has played a high-risk game, and can now be beaten. You live by the sword and you die by the sword. It's a good quote.
Yeah, it is a good one, isn't it? You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
No, the sword.
The sword.
Yeah. Get it right.
It's not even his first language. It's amazing, and he knows that saying as well. Go on, Frank.
If I may just say one thing, on top of the big mess and the big circus that we see, and we don't know the truth, I just want to remind the people that 2 years ago, Kylian Mbappe was upset because he wanted to play on the left side and didn't want to play as a striker. And now, supposedly, he got an agreement, or supposedly he will go to Real Madrid, where on the left side, you have another one of the best players in the world called Vinicius Junior. So therefore, everybody has agreed that Mbappe wants to go as a striker in Real Madrid, which for me is unbearable with his career because he fought against that. He didn't want to be a striker. He wanted to play in his best position. So now, knowing that there is a big mess and maybe there is a third party there with Real Madrid, I'm still at the end of the day thinking about the field. Mbappe is going to play as a striker for Real Madrid, where he didn't want to play for 2 years. So all that story doesn't make any sense. And if it's a circus, it seems to be a circus from everybody. Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, but also Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe has to be clear. If he wants to leave the club and wants to play for Real Madrid, where wanted to play? Where does he want to play? He want to play on the left side? Doubtful.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.